Every year, the industry throws another magazine-fed, gas-operated, tactical-looking contraption at you and tells you more rounds means more confidence. But here is what the old guides up in the Rockies already know. The hunter who chambers one round and means it is deadlier than the guy white-knuckling a 30-round mag. In 2026, single-shot rifles didn't just survive. They came back harder, smarter, and more precise than anything repeating actions can offer. We're talking sub-MOA accuracy, out of the box, suppressors that actually work the way they're supposed to, and platforms light enough to climb a ridge, but tough enough to drop a bull elk at 200 yards. 7 rifles made the cut this year, and every single one of them will challenge everything you thought you knew about what a hunting rifle should be. Moving on to number 7. And this one right here is where things get interesting. Connecticut Valley Arms dropped 2 versions of the Scout in 2026. And honestly, they could not be more different from each other. The Scout TD is your traditional takedown workhorse. Full stainless steel construction, matte synthetic stock, built to take a beating in the worst weather you can throw at it. Rain, mud, freezing temps. This thing does not care. It comes in 20 or 22-inch fluted barrels capped with a radial muzzle brake that tames the brutal recoil of straight-wall cartridges like 45-70 Government and 444 Marlin. Weight runs between 6.5 to 7.8 pounds depending on configuration, and the whole rifle breaks down and stuffs into a pack without drama. Now the Scout XP-SB, that is a completely different animal. CVA looked at the AR platform, took the adjustable buffer tube stock, the pistol grip, the Picatinny rail, and grafted all of it onto a single-shot break action frame. The result is a rifle that looks like it belongs on a tactical range, but performs like a precision hunting tool in the field. The barrel is 16.5 inches, fluted, finished in graphite black Cerakote or matte stainless. Muzzle is threaded at 5/8 by 24, the industry standard, meaning any quality 30 caliber suppressor drops right on without an adapter. Here is the mechanical detail that makes the XP-SB genuinely smart, not just cool looking. By keeping the barrel at 16.5 inches, CVA calculated that adding an 8-inch suppressor still keeps the total package balanced and maneuverable through thick brush. Most suppressed bolt guns go nose-heavy the second you thread a can on. This one stays neutral. The integrated zero-MOA Picatinny rail means no proprietary bases to hunt down. You mount your optic and go. The deal breaker on the Scout, and this one stings a little, is the trigger. It is functional, it does the job. But compared to what Winchester or Ruger offers at a similar price point, the break is mushy. There is noticeable creep before the wall, and for a precision single-shot platform where every ounce of trigger pull matters, that is a legitimate annoyance you will feel on every cold night. Feeds on 300 Blackout, 350 Legend, 308 Winchester, 6mm ARC, and more. Street price sits between $459 and $674 depending on configuration. For that money, the Scout is an absolute steal. Stepping up the game. Number 6. And this one right here is built for one thing and one thing only: getting into the thick stuff and coming out with meat. Tradition's Performance Firearms went back to the drawing board for 2026 and asked one question: what does a deer hunter in Ohio or Indiana actually need when he is pushing through a woodlot at 6 in the morning in 30-degree weather with a pack on his back and a stand to climb? The answer is the Outfitter G3, and the answer weighs 5.8 pounds. Let that sink in for a second. 5.8 pounds. That is lighter than most bolt-action youth rifles. Traditions pulled that number off by pairing a weight-reduced steel frame with an injection-molded synthetic stock, and then ordered the barrels straight from Lothar Walther in Germany. Now, if that name does not mean anything to you, it should. Lothar Walther supplies match-grade chromoly barrels to some of the most serious precision rifle builders on the planet. Getting a Lothar Walther barrel on a hunting rifle at this price point is like finding a Swiss watch movement inside a $50 alarm clock. The 22-inch tube is deeply fluted to shave every last ounce and dissipate heat fast. And it is finished with an 11-degree target crown at the muzzle. That crown geometry is not accidental. It ensures the last point of contact between the propellant gases and the projectile is perfectly symmetrical, which is exactly what keeps groups tight when the barrel heats up on a follow-up confirmation shot. Under the hood, the G3 runs the Elite XT trigger system. This is a rebounding hammer design, meaning the firing pin is physically blocked from contact with the primer unless the trigger is pulled fully rearward. Drop this rifle off a tree stand. The hammer rebounds and the gun does not fire, period. More importantly, the Elite XT lets you break open the action and load or unload while the manual crossbolt safety is still fully engaged. You never have to take this rifle off, safe to chamber around. For guides introducing new hunters to the field, that single feature is worth every dollar of the purchase price. The muzzle is threaded 5/8 by 24 from the factory, and Tradition ships the G3 with a muzzle brake already installed and finished in matching Cerakote. Pull the brake, thread on your suppressor, and the G3 transforms into one of the quietest single-shot hunting platforms available under $700. The deal breaker on the G3 is the stock finish. The synthetic material feels slightly hollow when you wrap your knuckles against it, and the surface texture wears visibly after a season of hard use in the timber. For a rifle this capable mechanically, the exterior presentation does not match the internals. Eats 350 Legend, 450 Bushmaster, 360 Buckhammer, 4570 Government, and 300 Blackout for breakfast. The damage to your wallet is $5.99 to $6.99 for the complete package, including a scope already zeroed for your cartridge. This is solid, but wait until you see what is sitting at number 1. Now we get serious with number 5, the newly revived Thompson Center Encore Pro Hunter. Greg Ritz bought the brand back and set up shop in New Hampshire to resurrect this legendary break-action platform. It feeds on everything from 22 ARC and 6.5 Creedmoor to the heavy-hitting 30-06 Springfield. This is not just one rifle. It is an entire arsenal built around a single serialized receiver. Under the hood, it uses a modular hinge pin system. Instead of being permanently threaded or welded to the action, the barrel is secured by a single removable steel pin and the forend. This means you can swap from a 50 caliber muzzleloader to a 12-gauge turkey gun or a centerfire rifle in under 2 minutes, giving you absolute mission adaptability without buying a whole new gun. They upgraded the firing pin and internal bushings with a slick nitride coating, making the lockup incredibly smooth and highly corrosion resistant. When you squeeze it, the trigger breaks clean like a snapping carrot, thanks to the proprietary Flex Tech stock with its recoil-absorbing chevrons. Even when you touch off a heavy round, the kick is just a firm shove rather than a brutal punch. Look, this modular setup is awesome. But wait until you see the absolute monster sitting at number 1. But let's be real, there is a catch. The financial trap is a serious deal breaker for some guys. While the complete rifle sets you back around $1,100, you will inevitably get addicted to buying extra fluted stainless steel barrels at $435 a pop, which will drain your wallet faster than a bad habit. Still, for the guy who wants one frame to hunt every season, this rig runs wet and wild all year long. Pushing further into the heavy hitters at number 4 is the Winchester 1885 high-wall traditional hunter. Designed by John Moses Browning when he was just 23 years old, this falling block action defined an entire era of American firearms. It tips the scales at a massive 9 pounds and features a beautiful 28-inch octagonal barrel. Built to handle big traditional loads, this absolute tank is chambered to run heavy 45-70 Government and 38-55 Winchester right out of the box. I know the traditionalists will hate me for saying this, but dropping a modern scope on this classic beauty is the smartest move you can make, especially since the receiver comes drilled and tapped from the factory. When you settle in and apply pressure, the trigger breaks sharp like a glass bottle crushing under a heavy work boot. Thanks to all that physical mass from the thick black walnut stock and heavy barrel, the recoil from those massive rounds feels like a slow and heavy push rather than a sharp slap to the shoulder. Looking under the hood, the internal barrel geometry is brilliant. For the 45-70 Government model, Winchester uses a 1 in 20 twist rate for the rifling. This specific twist pitch is mathematically optimized to stabilize heavy, slow-moving cast lead projectiles, keeping them flying perfectly straight instead of tumbling out of the muzzle and ruining your terminal performance on a big game animal. But listen to me, hauling a massive 44-inch long, 9-pound chunk of steel and wood through tight timber is an absolute nightmare. It will snag on every single branch you walk past, making it a terrible rig for spot and stalk hunting in thick brush. However, if you are sitting over an open field and do not mind the $1,670, it sets you back with a fully functional piece of history. Entering the elite tier at number 3 is the undeniable king of production falling block actions, the Ruger No. 1 Lipsey's exclusives. While other companies let their classic designs die off, Ruger partnered with Lipsey's to keep this beautiful rig alive for 2026. Depending on the model, this beast tips the scales between 7 and 9 pounds. It eats traditional hunting rounds like 6.5 Creedmoor, 250 Savage, and the 45-70 Government. Under the hood, it relies on an incredibly robust artillery-style breech block system. This massive block of solid steel slides vertically to fully support the base of the cartridge, making it one of the strongest actions ever built, completely capable of handling the extreme chamber pressures of modern magnum loads without flexing or giving way. When you put pressure on the shoe, the trigger breaks crisp like a frozen icicle snapping in half. Thanks to that heavy steel frame, the recoil from even the biggest rounds feels like a deep thud instead of a sharp crack. Looking at the top of the barrel, you will find Ruger's patented quarter rib mounting system. This rib is machined directly into the solid steel barrel itself, guaranteeing scope rings never shoot loose under heavy recoil. Lipsey's even ordered a beautiful international model that features a full-length style walnut stock that runs all the way to the muzzle, making it look like an absolute piece of art in the field. But here is the truth. The wood-to-metal fit on these newer production runs can be a little hit or miss compared to the original models from the 1960s. And you might find some uneven gaps if you look closely at the stock inletting. Still, when the street price sits around $1,900, you are paying for an incredibly strong piece of American hardware that will outlast your grandchildren. Closer to the crown at number 2 is an absolute masterpiece of European engineering, the Merkel K5 Extreme. Tipping the scales at a mind-blowing 5.1 pounds, this ultra-premium stalking rifle is built for the deepest backcountry hunts. It feeds on 308 Winchester, 270 Winchester, and 6.5 Creedmoor with devastating precision. If you want old-world craftsmanship blended with modern performance, this is your rig. Looking under the hood, it uses a specialized Jaeger tilt block locking mechanism instead of a traditional underlug system. A massive solid steel block tilts upward to lock directly into the barrel extension. This steel-on-steel lockup safely contains all the extreme chamber pressure directly at the breech, which completely unloads the stress from the receiver. Because of this brilliant engineering, Merkel was able to carve the receiver itself from lightweight aircraft-grade duralumin, slashing the weight without sacrificing an ounce of strength. When you pull it tight to your shoulder and touch it off, the adjustable trigger snaps crisp like a dry pine needle breaking under your boot. Thanks to the straight comb of the Bavarian style stock, the recoil from heavy hunting loads is directed straight back into your shoulder as a firm, rolling wave rather than a nasty upward slap to your cheek. The premium-grade walnut and hand-engraved side plates make it look like a museum piece right out of the box. But let's be real, there is a serious deal-breaker when it comes to the ergonomics. The elegantly carved forend is incredibly slim, meaning it feels like you're holding a tiny broomstick. If you have large hands or you are wearing thick insulated winter gloves, it is very difficult to get a secure and stable grip when the weather turns nasty. And when the final bill comes out to $4,500, you are paying elite tier money for a rifle that can be awkward to handle in the freezing cold. Taking the throne at number 1 is an absolute marvel of European engineering, the Blaser K95 Ultimate. This single-shot break action is the undisputed king of the mountain. Tipping the scales at a featherweight 5.3 pounds, it runs .308 Winchester, 6.5 Creedmoor, and 6.5 PRC flawlessly, featuring a full carbon fiber stock that kills all harmonic vibration. It is a high-speed rig built for the absolute worst alpine conditions on Earth. Looking under the hood, it utilizes a proprietary removable secondary breech block. Instead of relying on a standard hinge pin to contain all that chamber pressure, this thumb-sized steel block locks the cartridge case head directly into the chamber with microscopic tolerances. This specific mechanism guarantees absolutely perfect head spacing, ensuring pinpoint accuracy while allowing the entire rifle to break down completely in seconds for secure travel. When you settle behind the glass and apply pressure, the single-stage trigger snaps like a dry wishbone, breaking cleanly at exactly 1.3 pounds. Thanks to the organic geometry of that carbon fiber chassis, the recoil from heavy hunting loads is absorbed smoothly into a polite shove instead of a nasty jolt. It takes the crown because it gives you the rapid takedown capability of the Thompson Center at number 5, but delivers a level of world-class precision that puts the Park West at number 2 to shame. Mounting your optic is a breeze thanks to Blaser's exclusive saddle mount system, which clamps your scope directly to the barrel so your zero never shifts even after breaking the gun down 50 times. To play in this elite league, you are looking at dropping anywhere from $4,600 to over $10,000, depending on how you configure it. But if you want the absolute pinnacle of single-shot mechanical perfection, this is the undisputed champion. 7 rifles, 7 different answers to the same question. How much does one shot cost you if you miss? The CVA Scout at number 7 proves that tactical thinking and traditional hunting do not have to live in separate worlds. The Traditions G3 at number 6 proves that a loaded Walther barrel and 5.8 pounds of portability can compete with rifles that cost 3 times as much. The Thompson Center Encore at number 8 proves that one receiver can serve every season on the calendar. The Winchester 1885 at number 4 proves that John Moses Browning solved problems in 1885 that engineers are still trying to solve today. The Ruger number 1 at number 3 proves that Bill Ruger won a bet against the entire industry, and the industry never recovered. The Park West SD-10 at number 2 proves that American custom craftsmanship is alive, uncompromising, and worth every dollar of the waiting list. And the Blaser K95 Ultimate at number 1 proves that when German precision engineering meets the demands of global mountain hunting, the result is something that does not just lead this list, It redefines what a single-shot hunting rifle is capable of being in 2026. One platform, one cartridge, one shot. That is not a limitation, that is a standard. The hunter who understands that distinction is already more dangerous in the field than 90% of the people carrying repeating rifles into the same terrain. If you want the raw truth without the fluff, lock it in right here.